everybody, welcome to Tofu Mastery. I'm so excited that you've decided to join us in this course that is all about how to go from the tofu hate we know to tofu love. I don't think I have ever met a person who enjoyed eating tofu the first time they tried it. When I ask people whether they like tofu, their story is the same as mine 90% of the time. When I first tried tofu before I went vegan, when I was kind of flirting with the idea a little bit, I went to an Asian store that I love near my house and I bought this massive tofu block. I had been sold on this idea that tofu is a great white canvas that will grab onto any flavor you add to it and soak it all up and be meaty and delicious. And its bland flavor was sold as a plus since you could add any flavor notes you wanted to it. I didn't know that there were types of tofu that couldn't even be used for cooking, but were meant to be blended up and used as a creamy base. I didn't know that some types of tofu should always be pressed and that improves the texture. I didn't know that depending on the type of tofu that you buy, it can or can't absorb and marinate as much. I didn't know about a step in cooking tofu that is even more important than marinating that I'll be teaching you in this course. I had purchased this giant block of a soft tofu that did not hold its shape when I cut into it. It didn't hold onto flavors as promised, and it did not have a texture that seemed like meat. It was horrible. I am not proud to say that after the first recipe, I kept postponing its use until the rest of it went bad in the back of the fridge and I eventually had to toss it. That makes me so sad now. Tofu is a magical ingredient, but it takes a while to get to know it and learn its secrets and its tricks. We created this course because we want to teach you everything we know so that you don't have to do any of the research, any trial and error, and just start making tofu that actually tastes good and that has great texture. So what is tofu anyway? Tofu, also called bean curd, is a food originally from China dating back more than 2,000 years, which then made its way into the cuisines of Japan, Korea, Vietnam, Singapore, and other regions in Southeast Asia, and eventually came into the West as a meat replacement. It is made from the coagulation of soy milk to separate the soy curds, which are then pressed into blocks. The amount of liquid present in these blocks determines the firmness of the tofu and therefore the different types of tofu that you can find in stores. Tofu is a great source of protein, iron, and depending on the coagulating agent used, it can be a source of additional minerals such as calcium and/or magnesium. Calcium-set tofu, or tofu where in the back of the label you find some form of a calcium coagulant in the ingredients, is one of those amazing sources of calcium for vegans, and this is a mineral that is essential for bone health. So whenever possible, try finding tofu that is calcium set to get an additional source of this nutrient. Now, there are many misconceptions about tofu and soy products in general, and if you have any concerns about eating soy, I will be linking to some excellent nutritional resources that give you all of the updated information on evidence-based studies on the safety of eating soy and a product like tofu. You're gonna find those below. I'm an avid tofu lover and have been for many years now, but it took a lot of trial and error. There are so many misconceptions about tofu out there. This course will answer any tofu questions that you might have, and of course also give you some of my favorite tofu recipes to get started with. My hope is that with every student that passes through these virtual doors, the tofu horror stories become a thing of the past and no more tofu is sent to the back of your fridge because nobody puts tofu in the corner. It's very important that you start the course by watching the videos in the basics section of your course, as we'll discuss very important tips when choosing and cooking with tofu, especially the lessons on basic techniques and types of tofu, as I'll be explaining what to look for when buying it and what techniques to use depending on the type that you've bought. After that, you can start enjoying the recipes. I always recommend watching the video in full before you cook or buy your ingredients to make sure that you have everything you need. Please note that we will give you specific amounts within the video, but that they're also available as a printable PDF in the download section under each video, as well as written below the video for a quick glance reference. My hope is that after this course, you'll become a tofu master, that you'll know exactly how tofu behaves, and that you'll be able to come up with recipes and preparations of your own, both for your everyday simple cooking and for dishes that impress when entertaining. So are you ready? Let's go. In our next video of Tofu Mastery, we're going to talk all about the basic techniques needed when cooking tofu. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the little bell so you don't miss a thing, and make sure to follow us on social media. All of our handles are in the description box below. See you in the next video.